achieve in this race today? Yes, there is a race win. For some, there is a championship to think about as the third group comes over. By the way, we're going to get a 30-second stop and hold for tmracing.org. That's Benedict Hopfer and Sebastian Brandl in the Porsche Cayman, number 82. 30 seconds after the first lap in the race. The 999 has been given the black flag. That was the car that we said lost a driver. Actually, that's been cancelled. So the two drivers in the 4-hour race have been allowed to continue despite the fact that their teammate has lost. Yeah, I think that's fair because they weren't involved in that. Here's the third group getting underway. Lots of BMWs. There's some TCR cars in there that you'll recognise the shapes of as well. These cars somewhat different in capabilities in terms of top speed. Still very exciting to drive around the Nurburgring Nordschleife. The red Audi RS3 Saloon that you'll see, that's a family-run car, and that is, until it got a set of stickers on it recently, certainly last year in the Nurburgring 24 hours, it looked like a bog-standard car. We've got a Cayman GT4 off coming down, I want to call that the old Ford curve. Yeah, doing a bit of rally cross. I think that's the silver and red, I think is the 296 car from memory. You have to have a mouse with a good scrolling capability for the starter here, because it clearly you can't memorise everybody. Actually, I think it was the 3960 Adrenaline Motorsport car with Manhattan wheels, Klaus Fassbender, Christian Bulischbach and Andreas Schettler, Carlos Arimont. That's the three Germans and a Spaniard in that car. I'll tell you in a moment, we'll get some details from race control. They are very good at passing the most important parts of the information through to us. It's Neil Cole and John Hindhaugh in the first of two 4-hour races this weekend from the Nurburgring. What happened to that little Porsche? Did he get a help? He certainly did. That was playing snooker with BMWs, and it wasn't potting the black, it was potting the silver red and black, which was that Adrenaline Motorsport car. Adrenaline Motorsport, Neil, you'll hear that name a lot. They have a lot of entries, and when we go through the class leaders at various stages over the weekend, there'll be a lot of Adrenaline Motorsport mentions. They are a huge organisation in terms of how many cars they have here, as the leaders come back through for the first time. And here is the Komoto Racing BMW. The first racing lap then of the 24-hour Nurburgring Qualifiers is in the book, and as they come through, it is an 8:19.383. That's the first lap I've seen this season on this circuit. Last weekend we were on the much shorter Grand Prix circuit that they come through. So now we've got to start looking at that. Amazing to see the difference of who got the fastest sectors. There are 9 timing sectors here, never mind your micro sectors. I think the shortest one's about 10 seconds, but most of them are half a minute up to 2.5 minutes out in the forest. Already got an investigation going for the number 651. Leaving the start formation early. Again, that probably, I'm guessing that's someone who hadn't seen that the start line had been moved further down. That was done last weekend for the first time, so better to learn this now than in the 24 hours in a few weeks' time. Leading cars then, heading back out on lap 2. This has been exceptionally sensible from everybody in the front field. Dare I say that?
Yeah, the top 10 have kept it really clean and tidy and hardly any movement. I mean, Lucas Howe was back up to P9, but basically everyone else is kind of holding station. And what you have to remember as well is slipstreaming does work here, but there's nothing else to help them with overtaking. There are no other gizmos and gimmicks on the cars. It's just pure aerodynamics and driving skill and engine power.
As I said, I have been in K2. He's doing his 24th 24-hour here at the Nurburgring Nordschleife. this year. He's racing this weekend. I'll try and pick out his car number for you when we see them go through. There was an interesting comment about some of the experienced drivers that they said that they felt Max Verstappen may have found a little hack, if you will, to be able to get a bit of extra speed when following someone. So Peter went back and watched the whole of NNS2, particularly on the onboards when Verstappen was at the wheel, and he said, I think what he's done is he's been able to work out where the soft spot in the disturbed air behind the car in front is, and he's using that to be able to follow a little closer through the twisty bits without rooting the front tyres. And by the way, we have tyre wars here. This is not a single tyre manufacturer event, far from it. By the time we get to the Nurburgring launch line, we'll be well into double figures for different tyre manufacturers. So let's keep an eye open for that for Max when he gets in the car, and also of course his teammate Lucas Auer and the other Winwood drivers, they will have been watching that as well. As soon as they saw that coming, they'll have done what Peter Kane did and gone back and watched it. I thought it was very interesting that immediately Peter said, right, let's see if we can find out if that's true, whether it's a little bit of hype, and he said he felt it was true. Wow. That there was just a little bit of an advantage to be held at the right distance to find that soft spot. As I say, that was how he described it, in the disturbed air. Down to Kesselchen now, one of my favourite parts of the circuit, the right-handed downhill hairpin, short shift, particularly in these highly powerful cars. And then right, and right again as you plunge downhill. After the fourth right, it's into a slow left-handed hairpin, but you're still going downhill. Early pit lane caller from one of the couple two cars. I think that looks like one of the, oh no, that was, I think it was the Reiter Engineering. That was the SP7 Thomas Ertel car.
Yeah,
number 91.
Yeah,
that's a shame.
good.
That's a good team there. So Lucas Ertel, and Stefan Ertel and Maximilian Johannes, all German drivers in that GT3 Cup 991. That's why it's in the SP7 category. That's too early for that car to be in the pit lane. Good little battle back out on the Nordschleife at the moment. The BMW trying to go round the outside of the Porsche and has somehow pulled it off as they climb the hill. That is impressive indeed.
I do wonder if that Porsche might have a problem, because it was going a little bit slower. It got past once and then it's got past again. So it didn't seem to be at full power through that section, and it's dropping back a little bit.
If you've got any power issues at that point of the track going up the hill from Bergwerk up towards through the Hood curve, and now they're up at the bottom. Oh, and someone pulling off right at the bottom of the test hill as they climb towards the Caracciola carousel. Remember, this place built in 1927 to take, or started in 1927 to take racing off the Eiffel roads, the old Eiffel Rennen. It was getting a bit hairy, scraping past people's doors at 120 plus miles an hour. And also at the same time, the local government thought, might be able to attract a bit of industry here, it'll be good for the construction, we'll get some work out of that. And part of it there, the Steinstrecke, was to build that very steep test hill in the old days. If you go back, it's fascinating to go back into the 20s and 30s and see how road tests were conducted, and being able to climb a hill without the engine stalling was something that was highly prized. An engine that was torquey and that had the ability to be driven without shifting through the gears. Gearboxes weren't as they were now, and certainly didn't have semi-automatics. Actually had pre-selectors, which was sort of the precursor to that. So that's how this place came into being. It's used extensively by major manufacturers. You'd never get it built now, Neil.
No.
It just couldn't happen.
Not allowed.
No, absolutely not.
I'm just, my spies are telling me that the number 69 McLaren has had a right rear tyre failure. That's the the Bendur McLaren. So presumably that's having to make its either crawl its way back to get a fresh set of boots on.
Well, that's something else that's different here than anywhere else. They'll come back slowly. Volker Strajcek, the veteran, former head of Opel's Performance Centre, or PC, the man behind the Foxtail Manta down through the years. I worked with Volker on a couple of projects when I was with Remark Limited. Oh, so that's how the Porsche past happened. It was going off, coming through that fast right-hander out in the country, and the KCMG AMG also trying to get through Div, and Pittard right in behind the Porsche, but off onto the dirt, putting, I'm sure, a lot of clag and rubbish on the slick racing tyres. So that is how it all happened. That's Dan Arrow in the Lush Motorsport number 48 car that was going backwards a wee bit there. The teal blue, big strike on the ground coming up to your garden, right in front of Lucas Auer. That would be Maro Engel in the sister car, the Woodward racing car. The teal blue, almost Miami blue, House blue Lamborghini is the Conrad racing car, just going across the line now and heading down towards the first corner again. This is the track that they will be using at the 24 hours, taking this shortcut. The other Nurburgring LLS races, they go a bit tight around there, but then they cut off round about where the battles are going through now, rather diving down the hill. Lamborghini absolutely flying at the moment. Of the Lamborghinis, that's the Red Bull Abt car, that's Mirko Bortolotti going down the hill with a lot of pace. And I can tell you that Jens Klingmann is in 12th overall in the BMW M3 Touring 24H. The fast wagon is in the top dozen, is leading SPX, and an 8:25.9 on its last lap around. So they'll be delighted with that. The BMW M team boss, or should I say BMW M Motorsport boss, Andreas Roos, is, I am absolutely similar where he is for the WEC tomorrow. I'll have coverage for that, of that for you on RS1, live free and exclusive. Join us for that tomorrow. It's also the second race here. This is quality stuff. Can I just remind everybody, and you, Neil, it's a 4-hour race. It's a 4-hour race, not a 4-lap race.
And this is carving past the traffic. This battle that's going on for ostensibly 4th place is like a sprint race. It's just, having to go a little bit wider over the curbs than you'd like to get around that car from the different class is while still trying to hunt down the car in front is exactly what we want to see, with only sort of 29 minutes gone on this race so far. But 2.5 laps.
Basically, you're into traffic. If you're in the front group, you're into traffic by the middle part of your second lap, because that's the third group's starting lap. They've literally just started. So if you're in the third group, unless you're right at the front of the third group, you never get any peace at all. Jimmy Broadbent's just lost a position to the number 95 992, and that is the lead for the second starting group. Jimmy Broadbent, outstanding personality, loves his motor racing, converted from online racing to the real world. Had him on Simcast, our programme on RS1 every other Thursday. A very accomplished real-world racing driver. One among many who've used the many driving simulations around here. And Gran Turismo was basically made its name with the Nurburgring Nordschleife, and probably did quite a lot, to be honest, to make the Nurburgring famous around the world.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, right from the start of GT Gran Turismo, it's been, I suppose you'd say it was the blue and black track, wasn't it?
Yeah, and every sort of iteration, this sort of probably everyone who gets involved sim racing online now would think that the origins that we're talking about, Gran Turismo on a PlayStation, was origins that we're talking about, Gran Turismo on a PlayStation was, but it was really, really important. It was entry level. It was the first game where you could race the Nurburgring Nordschleife. I remember being at Le Mans and having what went before esports, linked up simulators where people were racing each other around Le Mans to have a chance to race against Sebastian Loeb. And it was, you know, those are the origins. They used to map the tracks long before the types of simulators that Max Verstappen and Jimmy Broadbent have spent many thousands of hours perfecting their laps on.
The voice of Neil Cole, I'm John Hines at RSL _ studio on X. Johannes says, I'm not sure that test hill, the Steilstrecke, was ever actually used. They quickly realised it was too steil, it was too steep. The steep track, Strecke is track in German. A lot of the names that we use for these corners, you see they're in German, but they are descriptive of what's around them or villages that are close by.
Well, those brilliant sort of German compound words, aren't they? Where
oh yes.
If you want to work out what it means, just break it up into 5 different words. You go, oh, that's what it means. It's the one on the left with the big hole in it. That's kind of whatever the German is. Linkshole.
Well, we do have Fuchsruhe, of course,
yes,
which is the foxhole.
Yeah.
I think one of the most stunning parts, and really takes your breath away even in a fast road car through there. You really can't afford to unsettle the car. They've resurfaced that part quite recently, and now it means that you're taking an awful lot of speed up to the top, and then it isn't resurfaced and there's a change of surface and you've got to go down the gearbox. Absolutely outstanding piece of circuit. You can pick up speed so quickly. The BMW Touring at the moment in, what did I put it in? I think I put it in 10th position, did I not? Away just a little bit. There's been something going on there because all of a sudden Jens Klingmann is down at 20 seconds. So maybe that was just a timing glitch. What's he got in front of him? He should have a Ferrari 296. Yes, that is the Ferrari, the Condor Ferrari, the blue Ferrari right in front of him. And in front of that is that Porsche? Yes, it is. So that was where it is. Problem for the BMW 3M car. This is that E39 that we were talking about. We were hoping that it would get out and do some laps, but once again, that looks like it's sitting down on the right-hand side. That was where hoping that it would get out and do some laps, but once again, that looks like it's sitting down on the right-hand side. That was where they had the suspension problems last week, Neil, and that's not good news for them.
No, and that's the second time it stopped, actually. It did stop before and got going again. So that looks like it's possibly terminal for the number 36 car. A real shame.
Will, again, those of you who watch Le Mans, and does not, I repeat, does not put you out of the race. The name of the game here is get the car back somehow and get the team working on it. This is something you'll see in the 24 hours of the Nurburgring as well. It's absolutely crucial to get the car back in the race. Back to the pits. Peter Kate telling us last weekend that in all the cars that he drives, he puts a little map in, not because he doesn't know where he is on the circuits. It's brilliant, actually. He can pretty much do it with his, no, in fact, he can't do it with his eyes closed and just talk around the lap. But he has a map where all of the access points are, where he can get off the track, but more importantly, where a crew member can get to him and help the car being repaired, or indeed get the car towed and back to the pit lane. And I just thought to myself, yeah, you see, that's thinking out of the box. Brilliant stuff. And it is now red flags. I have never seen this before.
That is a red flag.
I have never.
Very unusual.
I have never seen this except for weather.